All right. So you need to have your Chromebook, obviously, and make sure you're logged in at this point in time. And then what we're going to do is we're going to log in to a site called Desmos. Okay. So I'm going to show you up here what that all entails. I just literally, oops, I forgot the S. Google search Desmos. Sure, there it is. Okay. And then it's just the graphing calculator on the first one that pops up. Okay. So when you click on that, you should get something that looks like this. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to be following along on your white sheet here right now, because these are going to be the steps that you're going to do in order to make a box plot here on Desmos, so that you can do it rather quickly on there. Okay. So first off, it says in the upper left-hand corner, you want to click on this plus, okay? And what you want to put in there is you want to select table. So you want to select a table to put in there. Okay? Okay? Now, on the back side is going to be example A, so we're going to have to flip. But now what you're going to do is you're just going to enter your data in column X1. Right? Right? So you're going to enter all of your data in column X1. And it doesn't have to be in order. It's okay. So the first one on the back side was 45. Then 38. Then 42. Then 35. Then 48. Then 40. Then 41. Then 32. Then 46. Then 39. Okay, so we've entered our data now. Okay. Okay. Now on the keypad, which is for me down here in this lower left-hand corner, I think it's down there for you guys too. Okay. So if you click up on that, what you're going to look for then is you're going to look for this functions. Okay. So if you click on that functions, then it's going to give you a kind of a fresh pop-up area. And if you scroll down in that, you're going to look for box plot. It's right here under visualizations. Okay? And once you click box plot, then well, for some reason it's in there. I don't want it in there. Now if I go functions, now if I go box plot, oh, so puts it in there. I don't want to put it in there. Oh, I know what I got to do. Which one did I forget? 32, 46, and 39. You got to first get out of the table. Like you got to get out of that table. There it goes. That's where I want it. Okay. So then it says box plot, and now you got to type in what you want, what data do you want for it. So you have to type in X1 there. Okay, and then when you hit enter, it should show you the box plot then. If you can't see it on your graph, click on this. There's a little, it says it right in here somewhere that there's a little like magnifying glass with a plus in between it. If you click on that magnifying glass, yeah, there you go. Or you can zoom in just on the x-axis for that one. Okay? And then now we can identify the 5-number summary that we were doing yesterday by hand. We can identify that if we again go into the keyboard, into functions, but now this time go down to statistics, and it's under stats. And if you click stats there, and again you type X1 and hit enter. Actually, I don't even think you have to hit enter, but if you hit enter, then it gives you the 5-number summary. So it tells you that your minimum is 32. It tells you that your first quartile is 38. It tells you that your median is 40.5. It tells you that your third quartile is 45. And it tells you that your maximum is 42. Okay? Okay? And so then what you would do on the back side now, in example number 1, let me get, or example A, excuse me, not example number 1. Let me get to it here. Why this is being such goofy today. So now down here, you can fill in all of that information. So you can fill in here that my minimum was 32. My quartile 1 was 38. My median was 40.5. My third quartile was at 45, and my maximum was at 48. Okay? The only thing that it won't do for you is it won't do your range and your IQR. But we can figure that out relatively quickly. What is the range of this data? Range of this data. 16. Maximum minus minimum. 16. What is my inner quartile range? My IQR. Inner quartile range. 7. Okay. Q3 minus Q1. So max minus min for the big range. IQR is Q3 minus Q1. And then you can copy down that box plot for you on here. So we had a minimum at 32, our first quartile was at 38, our median was at 40.5, our Q3 was at 45, so there's my box. And my maximum was at 48. Skewedness, what would you call this in terms of skewed? Skewed left, skewed right, symmetric. What do you got? Skewed right, because it's closer to the left side? Yep, I would go skewed right on this one, because the right side of the box, excuse me. Yes, skewed right, because the right side of the box is big. Okay? Questions on that stuff? It's under the keyboard down here. Okay? What I would like you to do now is I would like you to do example B. So make a scatter plot, find me the 5-number summary, and range and IQR for example B. Go. So I got this as it, and I did mine probably a little differently than you did yours. You probably just went over the top of your old data, which is fine. You could totally do that. You could have started a brand new table if you wanted to. That's fine. What I did with mine is I put mine in Y sub 1, and I turned off my example A. But the reason I'm showing you this is because we can always turn back on example A, and then I can show both box plots on the same graph so that we could compare them if we needed to. Okay? Right? So you can, that's one of the nice things about Desmos is that you can show multiple box plots on the same one, on the same graph. Okay? All right? Any questions? Okay? So today then, you have the green sheet that you can be working on now. Okay? That is to be done on Desmos, not by hand, okay? Like yesterday. And then once you get done with that, you want to get that stamped, and I'll stamp that. If you want to get other stuff stamped, that's great too. Okay? All right? Have at it.